Redmen TV brought to you by Odds Checker, your one-stop betting club. Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the build-up show, Liverpool-Leeds. Thank you so much to Odds Checker for sponsoring the countdown to the brand new season. If you're not familiar with Odds Checker, it is a fantastic app where you can aggregate all of the best prices across the things that you would normally bet on, and now you can bet directly through that app as well. It's like Deliveroo for betting. The link will be in the description. Get through there, get involved, and all that good stuff as well. Yes, let's kick off the show then. I am joined by Chris Pajak and Ross Chandler, and just tying into the whole thing. We're going to do our score predictions at the end. But Chris, you know, as a man who enjoys a flutter, I thought it was interesting to note that at the time of recording, Liverpool to beat Leeds 3-0 was 8-1. Now, you expressed some doubts to me. Let's just get this up front and out the way. Some doubts because you were reticent to straight up back Liverpool, and another side thing you've got going on for a win for this.
Yeah, it's a last man standing. So you get to pick one winner. I think it's a really hard week to guarantee yourself one winner anyway. But if it was one winner, I'm not sure Liverpool's the best bet to go for on that. I think Leeds are going to give a lot of teams a bloody nose this season because teams haven't played them. Teams haven't played a Bielsa side. Teams don't play man-to-man across the board sides very often, if at all. If Liverpool have in the last 5 years, I don't know. Like, not many teams play like that. Plus the way they play with that 4-1-4-1 that becomes a 3-3-1-3. I mean, it's just something that we've not come up against before. So, and especially as that first game of the season. And look, Liverpool haven't been in great form since February time anyway. Reasons, of course.
That gets earlier and earlier to sort whatever point. Liverpool haven't been good since like this time last year.
Yeah, but you know, look, it was the start of March, wasn't it? And the end of February when Hendo got injured. Yeah. So, you know, that's the time when Liverpool haven't really played brilliantly together. So I just think in the first game of the season, it's a tough one to call. And I think Liverpool are going to win. I don't think it's going to be 3-0, so get your money on 3-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, now that you said it. Yeah, you can download the Odds Checker app again in the link. Make sure that you must be 18 plus to get involved with that. And if you do gamble, please gamble responsibly and be gamble aware. As we always say on these things, if it's not your bag, don't let us force you into it being your bag. But however, if it's the kind of thing you do already, then please do consider using the Odds Checker app via the link in the description. Right, Ross. Look, the kind of thing Chris is alluding to there. Leeds are going to be flying high. You see this all the time, where clubs come up from the Championship, and particularly because it's Leeds, and there's just they're riding a crest of a wave. That club's been down in the doldrums for a very, very long time. They will be a bigger test. It's a fantastic game, I think, to open the Premier League. I find it weird that it's not the first game of the season, that like Fulham Arsenal's the first game of the season, I think it is.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. I was talking to Chris yesterday about it's about perception, isn't it? So like when you play Norwich, you think back to those teams that we played Norwich, and you're thinking, oh, this will be a piece of piss, whereas this is Leeds. You just said, you know, they're a massive club, we haven't played them for God knows how long. You're thinking, you know, they're going to be a challenge. Plus, the manager's a bit of a fucking psychopath, so, like, which is a positive. He's well respected in football by some pretty big names. He's been around a while, so like what you mentioned before, he's not going to come to Anfield and go, listen, like, you know, man the barricades, just let's get through this game. He's going to go and go, well, we're Leeds United, we're the champions. We've got confidence. You can't go into your first game and go, listen, just get out of here as harmful as possible. You don't want to go for a win, I think. Like you said, you know, it sets a tone for the rest of the season. Leeds go there and just go, oh, listen, don't beat us. Other teams will play into their minds when they come to go and play Leeds. If Leeds give Liverpool a challenge, everyone else in that Leeds is going to go, fucking hell, like Leeds are fucking bang up for this.
I recorded a show with Joe from All Leeds TV, which will be out later on today. And what he was saying is exactly that, really, Ross. And he's talking about it, like, Bielsa's not going to change his style of football, but also they've got 2 winnable games, game week 2 and game week 3. So they're looking at it going, if we can get 6 points out of 9 to start the season, that's really good. Liverpool's a free hit, and not a free hit in the way that it's a free hit to Burnley, we're going to sit back. It's a free hit, and they're just going to go out and play football and see if they can give us a bloody nose.
I wonder whether, again, the no fans thing is going to be a topic till it's not a topic. And I think there's something that kind of, it levels the playing field in some regards, because it's one thing coming up, and then you've got Anfield, you've got 50,000 effectively minus away fans. and us where we're celebrating the league title, and it's just this massive, cacophony of noise to add to it that remind Leeds that they're up, of the levels to all this stuff. It'll be another footy team, and I wonder whether that helps Bielsa's whole message around this. Is just they can rely on muscle memory a bit more. It's just another football match. They've been playing big important football matches in front of no fans now at the back end of the season. They had to get the business done. They had to achieve promotion, and I do wonder whether it's just a little thing where, I do. You look at Norwich last season, because you kind of alluded to it, Ross. They gave us a real game.
It's a tough game
until the point where we just battered them.
It was 4-0 at half time.
Yeah.
It wasn't long in the game. And the scoreline didn't reflect.
We were seeing the first goal for us.
Yeah, well, we were dealing with that, like we were playing the high line and all that kind of stuff, and they were sticking balls in behind and Pocky chasing things down and all that. They came swinging for us, but ultimately we were a much better side. And we had all the things going for us. Leeds will probably, right, Chris, I think Leeds will probably try and replicate that. And I just wonder whether, because it's all well and good going, we should be fearful of Leeds. Well, we could have said this. We probably said the same thing about Norwich and all the same cliches about sides.
Not Norwich. Norwich are one of those sides that you've stuck 5 past every time you've played them over the course of their yo-yo Premier League Championship thing. Leeds is a different kettle of fish altogether, because you are venturing into the unknown, much like they are. And it comes across like I'm very scared of Leeds. I'm not. Champions of England, I just think it's a difficult game for us. Yeah. And in the same way, Leeds haven't played a side as good as Liverpool in 17 years. Yeah. Unless they've hit one in an FA Cup or a League Cup or something like that. So this is a huge ask for Leeds, more so than it is for Liverpool, but it's a potential banana skin.
The pressure's on Liverpool, isn't it? No one's expecting Leeds to go and win that game. They do. That's why they've got nothing to lose. Go in and give it a go. But also that form you were talking about of February, January, December, whatever it was, Liverpool dropped off.
Get earlier. You were right.
December.
When we played about 3 years ago.
It's a good time for Leeds, isn't it, to take a stand on that and go, actually, well, Liverpool aren't in great form. The confidence isn't low. The pressure's on Liverpool. They're the champions of England. Everyone's expecting Liverpool to win. So what have Leeds got to lose? Nothing. You might as well go for it.
Yeah, and I think the three things is right, isn't it? There's a couple of ways of approaching this. We talked about when the restart happened and we had Everton, and there was a real onus on Carlo Ancelotti's Everton to just not get battered by us because it set a template. And I just wonder whether there'll be a little bit of that. Leeds' defence was a big feature of what they were doing last season, and whether that, we talked about. But you say about Burnley parking the bus and all that kind of stuff. Like, I do wonder whether there's two approaches, and do you come out windmilling and try and land a blow and you could catch Liverpool cold? Bielsa might choose to do that. I would much prefer them to try and do that, to be perfectly honest, because Liverpool actually fare really well against teams to do that. Let's be honest. I would be more concerned if they decide to come and be dogged and defensive and resolute and what have you, because one thing that we've seen and one thing we have struggled with is fluidity and getting ourselves up to speed. And we know that if the front three haven't clicked and they've not found the shooting boots, etc., we do toil a little bit against these kind of sides. But I think Bielsa's got the freedom to choose what he wants to do, because if they go down swinging, he gets to go, well, lads, you scored a goal, you did a good thing. Look at these good things that you did against the best team in the land. But alternatively, if he manages to engineer a draw, I mean, all the best managers, if you should try, that's what I think. The best managers come to draw at Anfield. They don't come and try to beat us. They come to look to frustrate us, and that's the best chance I think you've got of getting a result. But we can kind of talk.
Well, let's not forget, while you're talking about the defence there, they've not got Ben White. He's a linchpin of that defence last season. I know they've signed players, and they've signed Rodrigo for like 29 million quid, but Klopp, and Bielsa are very similar in that they don't want to rush players in. He hasn't got a choice when it comes to the centre half. He has to bring somebody in because Ben White's not there anymore. Rodrigo, that's an interesting one for me, because I imagine he's going to be a bit more of your Bobby Firmino type of a centre forward. He's not there to get you 20, 30 goals. If he is, he's not done it throughout his career. So is he going to play the lad who did well with them last year, who the concerns where he didn't score enough goals for them and all that type of stuff? I would guess he doesn't, but how long's this lad going to sit on the bench for? Rodrigo, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you always find that. I think with quality's quality, true quality players tend to, and I think it's actually forward positions. You know, there's loads of examples in Liverpool's way of like Andy Robertson takes a few months to bed in, Oxlade-Chamberlain, but like Keita starts the season, Mo starts the season, those kind of things. So it will be interesting. I wonder whether it will influence our approach. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Ross, I just want to talk about the obviously signing off pre-season for what it was, the weirdest pre-season in the history of all time. Beating Blackpool for me just took a bit of the edge off everything, because we have this. We always talk about this in what we do. Liverpool losing before an international break is like the worst time to be a Liverpool fan, because social media and all that just becomes dead horrible. But like, I personally, just on all of it, just seeing Liverpool play, seeing Liverpool score goals, it reminded me, as if I needed reminding, that we're dead good. You know, like as if all the silverware and all the things we've achieved in this time hasn't already told us that. I think you do. Every season comes around, it's like you need to prove you can score a goal, and we scored loads of them. So like, it really helped my mood, I think, going into this game.
Yeah, and it helped the confidence of the players, the ones that are getting goals. Taki, Elliott, you know, I know Salah didn't score, but you know, that's the one thing people picked up of, like, oh, it's Blackpool and Salah has not scored. It's like, well, you can't have everything. But in terms of fluidity and rhythm going forward and confidence, I think it was a massive boost. Like, you can see the 2 goals, but you can see the step up in pressure and the step up of the gears that Liverpool going through to build up towards this. Like, I didn't take any notice of the back end of last season or the pre-season games so far, because they're not competitive games of football. This will be, like, and the lads know that. You can't go and burn yourself out. And particularly for those lads that went on international duty, which is fucking stupid, the week before the Premier League, you still got to get yourself up for an intense season. Like this is unknown to them. They've not had a break for 3-4 years, and they've got to do this and then go into, Euros, and then another one, and then another World Cup. They've got to look after themselves. You can't look too much into performances or results and stuff like that. I know what you're saying about the Blackpool thing, Sam, because you want to go into a season on a win, but like, again, I don't read too much into that either.
No, and we were saying this on the podcast, because is that it's about taking little bits and pieces and positives and all that kind of stuff. Like, and in terms of like someone like Takumi Minamino, this pre-season's been essential for him, because, you know, like, let's use like a contrasting example. Curtis Jones and Nico Williams actually got lots of time in the restart and got minutes under the belt that they probably wouldn't have done. I think that helped their careers on more than anything else. Minamino actually just needs to play and needed a few no pressure games almost to go out there and just show that he's fully integrated. And he's been the big takeaway, I think, from pre-season.
Him, and the fact that, you know, we're starting to see a little bit of a 4-2-3-1 formation are the 2 big takeaways from me, and one leads directly to the other, doesn't it? And, you know, I liked the way that Taki played against, I think it was Everton. You know, I know we didn't score it after the restart against Everton, but he played well over. Was he right wing in that game? It was a funny position. It wasn't something I expected to see him in, but he's played left. We've seen him play the 9 as well, but we're getting more out of him breaking from deep, aren't we, and going into the penalty area, and it goes back to what you were saying at the start of the show, really. And, like, you know, when Liverpool have toiled, it has been against the low block side, and this is another string to the bow. This is another way to attack these types of teams now, and just to get an extra body in there. And he's so quick, and he over a couple of yards, and he's so quick of thought as well, and his passing's really good. We've just looked really good in the top end of the pitch. And what I find really interesting is we've done all this without Trent. Mm-hmm. And I know it's only pre-season. Don't look. I've got to temper it a little bit there, but we've never really looked good without Trent. Not for a couple of years. You know what I mean? So even to just see this without him, wow, what's it going to look like when he's back?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we talk about it, it's strings to the bow, isn't it? And what it means is, formation-wise, Ross, we can tailor our tactics actually to opponents a bit more than we normally would. Like, I think for the last few seasons we've had since Klopp's first season, when I think we had a couple of ways of playing. When we were playing good opposition, we play 4-3-3. Yeah, and we'd start to build up Bobby in the 9, etc., etc. But, you know, there was plenty of examples that season where we still played 4-2-3-1. You know, we played that away in Dortmund, Divock Origi leading the line, that kind of stuff. We've had our main way of playing, and that's what we've done. And that's, I think, where a lot of people's fears have come from around looking into the new season. Have Liverpool been figured out? Has it gone a bit stale? And when Liverpool have, and we mentioned it before, have toiled, they figured a way to nullify Trent Alexander-Arnold and to some extent Andy Robertson, but mainly Trent. So there's time and time again, if you look back at the games where we've dropped points, it's either we were missing one of the, like, we were missing Salah or we were missing Trent. And it's about finding finding ways to make sure that we can do different things. And I think if you can, and this what the change in formation potentially is an interesting discussion, because if you can get an extra body up and round Bobby, I think that helps us. And also, if you can get Naby Keita into the side as well, all of a sudden, you've got two very gifted footballers who are very good in tight spaces, and it allows you to play through the middle of the park a bit more, which means that the delivery from wide becomes one of the weapons in your arsenal, not the be-all and end-all.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for opponents to deal with something else for Liverpool, isn't it? Like you said, like you think you've worked them out. I think it was Aston Villa and Burnley maybe, and it got to the point where as soon as they loaded the box with bodies, and you just have Trent constantly whipping balls in, it's frustrating to watch. Whereas everyone's after that creative midfielder, and I know that's not the right term, but like that's what Taki will bring. You know, he's still got that unpredictability because he's hardly played for us. Well, opponents don't know what he's going to do, and he's played several different positions. Some of the games that he has played, he's played with fringe players and new players, and that's when he's trying to bed in and adapt. Whereas now he's gaining confidence, he's playing with the first team now, is what you were saying before. And he's getting that link and that rhythm. And not only that, off the pitch, he's seen his mates. He had 4 months of being shut in a room by himself. So I think Liverpool having a different option, either not even before games, but during games. If the game's not going our way, you can go, right, I've got a different option. It's not like a like for like for a midfielder. You're going, I'm going to go 4-2-3-1, exactly as you just said.
What I think, sorry, Chris, just following on from this, and we've seen a little bit hint of that. We actually saw, and look, I don't think the Blackpool game is going to be a template for what we see, because it can't. Because
you don't want to go 2-0 behind in every game.
Yeah. But I think, but we saw shades in that game of what we saw in the Arsenal Charity Shield game. Is there'll be games where they're so dug in deep, the opponents, and they're so they decided that's it, we're holding on, we'll have no further ambitions. We've seen us with basically no DM.
Yep.
In some of these games, we're just going to continue to overload and blitz teams. It's a very Man City approach to football.
I think back to that goal, Naby Keita, the volley. Was it a goal, or did he put it onto the post or something? Post, wasn't it? Yeah. I think back to that, and where Naby is, 5 yards behind him is Fabinho.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that, I remember just looking at it going, wow. Yeah. I mean, not only you got one on the edge of the box, even if it just, because Naby's small, it could quite easily get over his head. You know what I mean? Fabinho's 5 yards behind him, and there's no one between the two. They're pinning them inside their defensive third. And for me, I look at Taki and what he can bring, and and going back just a couple of minutes ago to what you were saying about playing centrally. What does playing centrally do? Frees up the fucking wide stuff.
Yes.
And then you go wide. Well, then the middle's not as congested, and it's just a constant back and forth.
If you're doubling up on Trent, then it stands to reason that someone else is being forgotten about. For that, you're dead right on that. I think what's interesting, because again, not just the thing you're saying there, and I'm not saying we'll see loads of this, because I think Fabinho will play more than he doesn't, but we finished the Blackpool game with Curtis Jones and Naby Keita as a midfield two. Curtis Jones has played, both of these lads have played on the wing in the time. We had no DM. We finished the Charity Shield game, albeit with Fabinho at centre half, but with Gini Van Alden as this, or Naby Keita, depending on what the point is that it's mad. The overloading of attacking talent that we're getting on there is potentially frightening.
It's also mad, without, when you consider signings and all that type of stuff. I wonder why Klopp likes versatile players. This is the reason.
Yeah, it's true. You're total football, isn't it? That's what we like to see.
We're taking a lot of shots from distance in that game as well. We got, again, several bodies in the box. We didn't proper Arsenal it and tiki-taka football and trying to force the ball in. The Naby shot you're talking about, I'm sure Taki had a few as well, and Curtis Jones did as well, of taking chances and taking risks. It's different types of risks you can take if Naby goes past a few players, but he's getting to the point now where you can mark those wide plays, but then you're making space for people to have shots at goal. So it's not like most of our goals come from inside the box, don't they? I'm not insane. So having that element to your game as well of going, well, you got Leeds will be different because they man mark, don't they? But when we face up clubs that don't do that, they can't give someone 5 yards on the ball.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to take a very short break to discuss some Liverpool-related merchandise that we have available now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all at home the 30 seconds or so of the advert break to name as many of Liverpool's starting 11 the last time we played Leeds United in the Premier League at Anfield. See you in a sec. Hey, welcome back. Yes, you can get some Redmen merchandise. Go to the redmentv.com. There's a shop tab there, or you can go to Chris, the URL.
What for?
For the shop.
The Redmen shop. I'm buying time. TV.myshopify.com.
Nailed it. Probably. I have no idea.
bit.ly/Redmen shop.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, do you know what?
No.
Yeah, the store tab on the YouTube page works well.
Or the store tab. In fact, if you're watching this on YouTube, there should be.
Or the redmentv.com and click shop.
I said that. That was the first.
He said that. Now, if you go onto our channel page, there's a thing that says store now, and they're all there. Yeah, but they're under the video as well, and you can get them in a plethora of places. None of the links we know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just click the pictures underneath this video. You'll be laughing. Or if you're listening to this in podcast form, then yeah, go to the redmentv.com and click the shop. Right, I asked before we headed off for our advert break. Fucking hell, talking about the advert break's been longer than the actual advert break. The last time Liverpool played Leeds United in the Premier League at Anfield, Saturday the 25th of October 2003, 12:30 kickoff that it was. Chris, who was in goal for Liverpool?
2003.
Any shots? Dudek. Right. Name. Oh gosh. Back four.
Risa.
Correct. Hippier.
Carragher.
No.
Pancho.
No.
2000. Okay.
Get right back.
2003. Finnan.
Steve Finnan. Correct. It's a bit of a weird one, the centre half. You might have even forgotten. You might have even forgotten that he played. Ulier bought him as a midfielder.
Biscan.
Moved him to centre half, and then Benitez moved him back to midfield. Igor Biscan. Midfield.
Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard.
Danny Murphy.
No.
Is that, yeah, okay.
Former Leeds United player.
Ooh. Harry
Kewell, correct. He's Paddy Baker's mate. Vladdy's mate, yeah. And a front three.
Okay. Fowler had gone
by then.
He was at Leeds. Or had he gone to City at that point? Had he?
Possibly. He's not. He wasn't.
Heskey.
Owen.
Peter. No, is that too early?
2003.
Sean.
No, too late for Sean Dundee.
Carlisle.
Too early for Peter Crouch and Dirk Kuyt, and also unfortunately too late for Nicholas Anelka.
Oh no, Chief.
Yes, sounds absolutely nailed it. And it's going to be mentioned all over the place, of course. But actually, there was three people who would either go on to or had played for Liverpool. Oh, God, there was loads of ex-Liverpool for. So, Dominic Matteo was in the Leeds team.
Yeah, he was there when they got relegated.
Yeah. Jermaine Pennant was in the Leeds team.
Was he? I didn't know he played for Leeds.
Yeah. James Milner, of course.
Yeah, he was there when they got relegated. It was that season they got relegated, wasn't it?
And Nick Barmby as well.
Yeah. I'd never have guessed it, but I do remember him playing at Leeds.
One final one, bonus points for anyone who wants to get this home as well. Who was the Leeds United manager?
It wasn't O'Leary.
With a heavy connection
to
us as well.
I've seen the documentary recently, so I absolutely should know this, but they had about 5 managers in that time. No, I can't think.
He's not a hero to Liverpool fans, but he is a hero in the city of Liverpool. It's Peter Reid.
Yeah, I should have known that.
Peter Reid, there you go.
Yeah, I should have known that.
There you go. If you got all of that, you're an absolute cheat. But yes, I don't believe anyone could possibly have gotten any of that without a little bit of help. But yeah, maybe you are just a footballing savant, in which case you give yourself a big pat on the back. Okay, Chris.
Hi.
It's not a loaded question, although I know what I suspect what your answer might be if it was up to you. 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1.
Klopp will play a 4-3-3.
You think?
Yeah, I just think he's going to go with the formation that the team know best at this time of season. I think if anything goes wrong, we go to 4-2-3-1. But Workman does just insert that type of word into the midfield. Hopefully Trent starts. The front three start.
What if that's the case? Just follow your thinking on. what does an industrious Liverpool midfield look like with what we've got available to us?
Well, Fabinho and Wijnaldum,
Definitely.
and then probably Keita, to be honest, because we don't have that. I know Milner will want to play. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure he does.
Yeah. I think we've got.
Unless Wijnaldum's left.
Yeah.
Unless Wijnaldum's left, he's had a big talk with Jürgen, hasn't he? Let's hope this isn't dated horrendously between recording and
They
release.
should when they have a big talk, I think you should have a Horlicks because it calms you down, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like
I know there'll be plenty of hugging, won't there, regardless of how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Won't get that off Ron the Red, will he?
The what?
Won't get a hug off Ron the Red, will he?
No, well, maybe, who knows?
Get a
Get a red
Christmas
Christmas tree. Yeah, that's just a niche joke. Right, yeah, I mean, I guess, look, at the moment, in terms of injury news, we know Henderson's back in training and he was reportedly desperate, gagging for it, desperate to play against Blackpool. Obviously, Klopp kept him back because he just hadn't trained enough. Trent played for England, so he should be in contention. Matip played 45 versus Blackpool, as we know, and scored. Tsimikas is out because he's got in COVID isolation, which is all the rage amongst Premier League footballers at the moment. Oxlade-Chamberlain, I'll do that in a sec. Oxlade-Chamberlain is out, and Shaqiri. Can we just all do this at the same time? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on with Jadon Shaqiri ever.
I think he must be having like a series of bad nightmares, just keeping him out.
Maybe it's just like his hair plugs aren't taken and he has to keep going back and he's just
It's the only logical explanation for it, Paul.
Well, at this point, like, I can't even... I mean, he must just have... Is he just consistent injury problems? At this point now, where we do it... In fact, again, going through last year's book, there's at least 2 occasions in that book where in Ross's play ratings he just writes, he's alive. No rating. He just pleased to see that he's alive.
I reckon he got his hair transplant. He's trying to get on rides at Alton Towers. And he's trying to grow it and he's trying to go back. That's
right, 1.5 metres.
Yeah, that's where he is, yeah.
I think because he's trying to look young to be able to...
He's using it for extra height.
He's trying to get his lifts as well. Can you get lifts in footy boots?
I think he's got clogs.
Big shame. But look, really, the decisions to be made here, I mean, unless there's any late fitness stuff, it will be whether... If Trent's fit, he'll play. I imagine, but I also don't think the club will be too concerned if he has to play Nico Williams in this one, given... Or if Milner has to play in a fullback position, but Nico Williams come back, scored the winner for Wales.
It would just be so sly on James because he played the Charity Shield at fullback, didn't he? Is that right? Was it
midfield?
Was it Blackpool? He played
Blackpool,
and it's just first game of the season. Yeah, you're going to be a centre midfielder, mate. Right back.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? I wouldn't shock me either way, but I think it depends on the pecking order of things, really, doesn't it? I think Milner plays at... Tsimikas plays against Blackpool at left back, I think, if he's available. I think he just would, because he would need minutes to get integrated. Milner's our third.
But he was international anyway, wasn't he? That's where he got his COVID, wasn't it?
I don't know if that... Is that right? Yeah. Okay, sounds... Oh, yeah, but okay, sounds... Well, yeah, that's... I think Milner's third choice fullback at this point, but I'd be interested to see what happens with Nico. But anyway, the Trent thing, I think if he's fit, he plays. It's whether Henderson's fit to play, because he'll be doing everything in his power to be available for this. But it's the midfield, it's formation will dictate, but also who's available, I think.
I think a lot of it, I've joked about it before, but it's the genie stuff as well. Like, what do you do? Because you've got Arsenal and Chelsea, or Chelsea-Arsenal after this. Like, you can't plop Henderson into one of those games, can you? They're massive games. He's been injured, so he needs game time before he goes into one of those.
We literally dropped him straight back into the Atletico Madrid.
How did that work out?
Game, and he was boss.
Okay.
It's a good shout, though. It's been a while since he's had minutes.
But also on the flip side, after Genie's conversation, I'm not saying just bid him off if he doesn't want to be here, but if someone's mindset, I think you'd rather get the game to Jordan Henderson, who's the club captain, and say, listen, I need Henderson up to speed for these 2 games.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. I think when was the last time Henderson played? Mm-hmm. He lifted the trophy. He wasn't playing that game. Yeah. It's a long time ago. And I think, was he out for 3 weeks maybe before the Atletico game? It's not quite as long a spell, is it? 2-3 months maybe since he's played a game of footy.
And we were desperate for him then as well.
But that also makes me think 30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes for Hendo.
Just, again, you don't know, do you? You don't know where he's at. You don't know whether he's played behind closed doors or any of those kind of things. He's the kind of player who won't be asked if he's fit, which by all accounts he is. Yeah. He'll play, because you're right, he needs to get his minutes somewhere. You're better throwing him in against Leeds or throwing him in against...
The other thing as well, and maybe this is me being wrong here, and let me know in the comments if you think that, but there was a time when I've spoke about it, like we need fucking leaders and stuff like that, you know what I mean? if you take a step back and you look at this side now, they're all leaders. They've all won the Premier League. Like, you know, Alisson, Virgil van Dijk. I mean, Gomez is a bit of a leader in himself, and Andy Robertson. Trent, you know, leads by example kind of plays. There's leaders all over the park.
I think if we're playing 4-3-3, I think we have to play Jordan Henderson in this, because I think you do require his drive and his leadership and all those other bits and pieces that he does, because I don't think without Oxlade-Chamberlain we've got, I mean, Naby can do it, of course he can. You could play Naby on the right hand side of the three and you'd get, because he had some good results from there, you know, that little spell leading up to the Club World Cup, he was playing a bit more on that side and what have you. But I think if you're playing a two, you've then got a consideration of what is that two, and you don't want two. I don't know whether you want Fabinho and Henderson as a two if you're playing 4-2-3-1. I think having Fabinho in there, because I think Fabinho picks himself pretty much at the moment, and I wonder whether if he goes 4-2-3-1, you put Minamino in the 10 again, and then I think it might be Fabinho.
That's what I'd love to see.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, and I think they deserve it. I think Keita and Minamino deserve to play. I'd play Minamino. I'd play Keita in a 3 personally, because I think he's good. I think he doesn't look like he's dead industrious, but I think he is. He just happens to be a bit more attacking than the others, and maybe we focus on that a little bit. But see, I think Minamino deserves a start. So does Keita, and I don't think you can play both of them in a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
I do like Keita from deep though saying that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Fabinho and Keita thinking about it now.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what we've kind of started to allude towards with the 4-2-3-1, is that we're seeing Keita play as part of the two effectively, aren't we, when we do it? I think, again, and I kind of teed it up before in what are the opponents going to do? And I think if Klopp is certain that Leeds are just going to come and defend for their lives for 90 minutes, I think we might start 4-2-3-1 and just go, well, fuck it, we'll just put our best foot forward and go for it. I agree that I think we might warm into that though as the season goes on. But for me, if it was me, if we're playing 4-2-3, if we feel like Leeds are going to defend, let's do it. Whatever. Let's not waste time. Let's not switch it up with 45 minutes and give us 45 minutes to chase a win. Just chase it, have the full 90 to chase it, as it were. Alternatively, if it was 4-3-3 and Hendo's not fully fit and available, I'd quite like to see a midfield today of Fabinho, Keita and Jones.
Interesting.
I want to see Curtis Jones get good, and I think he's the closest fit to that. The drive, the energy, gets up and support, because although it's 4-3-3... It's a
shot off as well.
Yeah, and as much as it's a 4-3-3, it's actually another example of you effectively leaving Fabinho to do all the dirty work. Because if they're going to part the bus, that's 2 more men you're throwing forward there. They can both be really attacking formation.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, actually, lads. So, because in my head, 4-2-3-1 is the more safe, generally speaking, formation than a 4-3-3. I think of the 4-3-3 and the 3 forwards really high up and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. It's not, and I think both formations have got a little bit of stability to them, and they're able to get forward. I think it's easier to leave a player forward in the 4-2-3-1. I think you're reliant a lot on the engine room of the midfielders breaking and joining, and I think that's why probably 4-2-3 is slightly more offensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's personnel-wise, because again, if you put, in years gone by under Rafa, if you put Mascherano and Alonso into a 4-2-3-1, you've got two DMs on the pitch, and that was always our complaint. We always wanted to go a bit more positive and all that kind of stuff. Whereas a midfield, look at the Community Shield, when the two's Wijnaldum and Keita, there's no complaints there. You've basically got 6 attacking players on the pitch, because and then that's not even counting the fullbacks who still love to maraud forward and whatever. Yeah, Ross, what would you do?
I think again it depends on who's fit. If Trent's there, I think you just go 4-3-3 and stick to what you said before. You've got people that cover and fill in for those fullbacks. I think if your Leeds, as much as I said it before, have nothing to lose, I think they'll still be nervous. You're going against the best team currently in the world. When you see the likes of Virgil van Dijk in the front 3 and Robertson and Trent, all the things they have to think about, I think you stick to what you know, especially your first game of the season. You want to win under your belt. I'd like to see us go and put the game away early. I think 4-3-3 gives you that.
I mean, this is strings.
It's all fluid anyway.
I just want to see Takumi Minamino on the pitch. I just think I think you're at home. And we don't know, is the point, I guess, at this point, because there's not been enough football and we've not seen enough of what the actual concrete plans are. You might just find that we switch to this 4-2-3-1's the new formation for the season. We
Love
might
it.
find it's not, you know, it's...
Love it.
Oh, no, you've been made up. But we might find it's been a bit of a feint from the manager. He's just been doing it just because because it was his break glass formation last season. When we were chasing games with 15 minutes to go, we'd switch to 4-2-3-1. Yeah. So many times. Get Divock on the pitch, put Salah
Which stands to
central.
reason that's the 5-0 formation.
Yeah.
It's the Man City 5-0 in 20 minutes formation. If
Yeah.
you're switching to it at the end because you know it's going to score goals, let's just do it from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Give us something to cheer at our tellies for.
Yeah. Score predictions, Chris?
2-1 Liverpool.
Ross?
It's a 3-1.
Yeah, I'll take a 3-1. Why not? I think Leeds give it. I do think Leeds land a blow, but if it's not one of them games, again, I don't know enough about Leeds. I don't know how they're going to go. I could easily see this being a
I don't think they're
1-0.
sitting back.
Reckon?
I do not think they're sitting back.
Interesting. Predictions then in the comments. What do you think the starting 11 is going to be? Who would you like to see? 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, and your score predictions as well. Chris, of course, has already done his starting 11 prediction show. That is up on the YouTube channel if you want to see what he really thought. Then you can go and check that out as well. And there's a whole host of other brilliant content, including our thank you Jürgen video that was constructed from Liverpool fans sending messages in from around the world. It's a wonderful, wonderful piece of content. There's also a video I did over on Mates TV which looks at whether Liverpool fans are being ripped off by the two-tier shirt system created by Nike. Loads of stuff to keep you going. And yes, once again, thanks so much to Odds Checker for sponsoring the content in the countdown to the season. Do go click the link in the description, download the app, and obviously make sure you're 18 plus and that you're gambling responsibly if you choose to do so. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Cannot wait. The live stream will be kicking off 10 minutes before the team comes out on game day, and then we'll be live with a live commentary 15 minutes before the game as well, right here on the YouTube channel. We'll see you there.